So what about this new trans clone trooper thing? I just kind of looked into it a little bit to get some details on what it even is and where and I guess it's a character from a new book
that
it
probably won't sell anything. I think this is the selling point. People, those secondary collectors that destroyed baseball cards, toy collecting, comic book collecting, all that stuff, are going to buy these up and, they're going to be worth something someday. It's hot garbage.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what I'm saying. It's hot garbage. This would have been, if this clone was acting this way, and you guys can hate me if you want, I don't care, it would have been relegated to Clone Force 99.
As a defective.
As a
yes.
defective clone. And the fact that it has special armor, that is the trans flag, is something I know Eric really has a problem with, because it's a earthly 21st century thing instead of a galaxy far away.
A long time ago. Where would they have a point of reference to use that image or that symbolism
paint scheme
on their armor to represent their trans and I mean
affiliation? And also, where did it come up with this idea that it was trans? It's the only one.
Well, from the way I understand the way the character is described is that all the clones had kind of developed their own personalities and individuality in their own way, and this one decided that it identified as a female, and that just I don't.
Which kind of goes very much against the character of Jango Fett, because Jango and Boba were very kind of swarthy, rizzy kind of people.
Well, that and I mean they were genetically engineered to be male soldiers.
Yeah.
There'd be no. How would a clone?
No. Keep going with it. Keep going with the thought, because
it's defective.
Yeah, it's a defective clone.
It's not a female clone, which Tom has an issue with Omega, and that's from the Bad Batch.
You have an issue with the grown Omega clones.
Oh yeah,
because that doesn't make sense.
No, I mean she was genetically engineered to be female, which I will accept that she was bred as a female. She wasn't a male clone that identified as a female and raised as a female. No. And I could see the reason why they would do something like that, just for their own backup on having a source of first generation DNA, just in case anything happened to Jango and Boba, which did, and she was the only other source. But my impression was she was the only female bred clone, and then it turns out later that no, there was a whole bunch of them, and they were all full grown adult people working with the Empire on the cloning project.
Another Dave Filoni strikes again.
Why would they have multiple female clones like that? Unless they were bred for the program, I guess, maybe. But
program, yeah.
The cloning program, but I don't think that program was even conceived of when they would have been bred
out, yeah.
and grown to adulthood. So it just makes no sense. Where did they come from in the first place, and why were they even engineered and produced?
And given the need of clone troopers all the time throughout the Clone Wars, why would they have been conscripted into service?
Right, service to the Empire.
Yeah, or the Republic at the time, yeah.
And
so that's another problem when you start thinking about things.
Unless they were all just kept on Kamino until the Empire had a use for them, but still.
Were they all barefoot in the kitchen?
No, they would have been produced and bred before the fall of the Republic.
Yeah.
If in real time, if you look at it, there's no way, because the Empire hadn't been in power long enough yet to have produced them.
Back to the tranny.
It's just like, it's just another example of inserting identity politics in places where it just doesn't belong or isn't necessary. And we're getting tired of it, man.
It's old. There's no...
And I'm not a homophobe, I'm not a transphobe, I'm not any of that. It's not that. It is that,
Not that I am, I just don't care anymore. I don't want to hear about it. It's stupid. It's lame. If you're going to create a character that is of this different origin or identity or whatever the fuck, then you need to be smart enough to write a good story about it.
I'd rather see a trans Wookiee than a trans clone. I'll tell you, that's just you know what I mean? It just because they're not clones with programming that they're bred with.
Yeah.
I'd rather see, a trans Twi'lek or somebody, anything but a clone like that. It just makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. That's my problem with it. It doesn't make any sense.
And that's what I think everybody's problem with it is what?
How does this work? And then those dreadlocks, how is that going to fit into that helmet?
Yeah, well, that one illustration that
Yeah.
somebody made of her, yeah, whatever.
It's ridiculous.
It just,
Wait, Kathleen Kennedy's looking for that win. Yeah.
well, yeah, this one's gonna get it, and I mean, there's no indication that this character's ever gonna show up in a movie or in a live action setting or even in maybe one of the animated things. But
So do you think that they
so
put-
what's the point of even introducing it in the first place?
Just
And
to
why are we
create-
making such a big deal out of it?
just to create division and
It's
make
just
things
in a book, man.
and just to make things more awful. And maybe this was their way to like kind of test the waters by putting it in a book, and then it could go to a TV show or a movie. Maybe it could be in Ray's new movie that's not going to happen. But technically, since it's
Well, no, there'd be no way because I mean there's no
Hold on, wait,
clones
wait,
in
yeah, but-
in the sequel timeline.
on, wait,
no,
wait. But-
if they did that,
no, wait.
oh, dude, that would be inexcusable.
Watch Dave Filoni will steal that.
Oh my god.
So, but technically, it's
They'd be like,
male. Hold on, wait. Just follow me with this. It's male, technically, whether how
well,
it
yeah,
feels.
it was produced as a male.
Yes.
It was
so
bred
then,
and
then
you know.
wouldn't Daisy Ridley have a problem with it because all males don't like her in Star Wars,
Yeah, shit.
right? I'm just saying. So I guess it couldn't be in the new
No,
movie.
she said some men.
Some men, well,
And some men don't. Some men fucking hated her. Others didn't so much. I mean, it wasn't all men hate Daisy Ridley. She said some men do, and
she should have said some fans.
it wasn't. It wasn't
This is
just
why
men.
this is why actors and
they-
actresses are fed lines and they don't have to actually think.
They were plenty of women who didn't like Ray either. It wasn't just a male thing, and that generalizing it into just
A
men
gender.
only being the haters of Daisy and Ray was an unfair generalization.
So, what do you think? Like, share, and subscribe.